It's time for
It's Fanboy Weekly for all you geeks, nerds, and blurs. Let's get our geek
on. Welcome back. It is Fanboy Weekly, and I'm your host, David, from the 5x5. And I'm glad you guys are joining me whenever, however, wherever you are listening to this episode of Fanboy Weekly. I do appreciate you guys. I've been... It's so funny because I've been kind of, when I get home from work, I plan this at 1 o'clock so I can get it done. And not that I'm trying to rush it, but I want to get it done so I can get to bed at a timely manner. But I get to watching TV or a new show that I'm watching, and I got drawn into that and not doing and setting things up the way I normally would. But, I'm here now. I was 2 minutes late. So sorry, you guys who tuned in at 1 o'clock. And I'm a little sniffly tonight, so if I get to sneezing and stuff, please forgive me. Because I don't know, the weather's been so crazy. Yesterday, it was like 61, 62 degrees, and the day before that it was like almost 70, and the day before that it was like in the high 50s, and then today it kind of tanked. It went south like 40, and now it's like 20 degrees, and so I think, I don't know. I think not that I don't think I'm getting sick, but I think that I am getting just the sniffles, or it could be because I did see like buds and stuff on the trees, and it could be, I don't know what kind of pollen comes out this time of year, or when we're going from winter to spring. I don't know what that is, but it could be some sinus things going on. But anyhow, enough of that. Enough of me babbling. I just got an Apple TV update. And if you listen to the show before, I absolutely love my Apple TV. I live and die by my Apple TV, because if I didn't have it, I wouldn't get to watch all the shows in HD. Yes, I'm an HD snob. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I was at a friend's house a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, whatever, and they had in the one room we was watching TV, and it was just like a regular old kind of box TV, and I was like, yeah, that 480 has hurt my eyes, and they just thought that was so funny. But they have an HD television, but it's not that big of a deal. You can get, they're not that expensive, and mine's is actually relatively old. It's not a new one. It's LCD, but it's not a brand new one. Which I want a smart TV, but eventually, I love my TV. It's a Samsung, and it's been good. It's like I bought this in 2010. Yeah, in 2010. So it's 4 years old. Anyhow, hope you guys are doing good. Hope all you fanboys are fanboying out on whatever you guys like. My fanboy obsession, if you haven't listened to the show and you haven't heard much about what I talk about, different things on different shows, I'm a comic book nerd. What else? I'm a gadget nerd. I'm a gamer. And I will say this now, I should say I'm a fanboy come lately, because sometimes I get information a little late, but if you're like me, like I said, I'm not as fanboyish as I would like to be, because being a fanboy can be kind of expensive. I was at the comic book store today, and there were so many things that I wanted, and things that I was thinking in regards to you guys, like what can I do, what can I bring into the show that's part of who I am, from a fanboy standpoint, to what the other guys. So I'm an older fanboy, and I know people my age that they do the whole cosplay and all that stuff. And I'm looking to get a cosplay person on the show. So I've been working on that. Also, there is April the 4th and 5th here in Southern Indiana, Evansville. We're having our first comic book convention, and they're getting some people like the creator of the Little Mermaid. I can't think of his name right now because I don't have the flyer in front of me. Theodis Clay, I think it is, from The Walking Dead. I don't think he's on there anymore. I think he got killed in like the second season. Misha Tate and the Hurricane from WWE. They're all going to descend upon the little small town of Evansville, Indiana. And so hopefully I'll be able to get some interviews because I am going to get the VIP. Gotta have VIP. And so so I'll be able to talk to some of these people, get some really really cool pictures. I'm gonna take my nephew with me, and we'll be able to hang out and see what it has to offer. It's either gonna be really really good because it seems a little rushed at this point, or it's going to be extremely bad. But the response I've seen on the Facebook page, I think it's going to be received pretty good. So I'm crossing my fingers. That's only like a month away, well, a month and a half away. Because February is gone. February is gone, and we're running. Next weekend is going to be March. So things are going really fast. Comic book, well, year wise, it just seemed like we just had the first of the year, January 1st. Seemed like it was just yesterday, but we're going into the third month of the year. So interesting stuff. But like I said, I just got a if you guys have an Apple TV or any iOS device, they pushed out a security update. And this is part of my fanboy. I love, like I said, I love my Apple TV, and I geek and fanboy over it. There's so many things that I like about it. Of course, Netflix, which I'm totally. If I could be a fanboy for the show House of Cards, that is a Netflix exclusive. Can't talk tonight. Sorry, Netflix exclusive. I would. Of course, there's Hulu Plus, so I can catch all my television shows that I don't normally get to watch during the week. I catch up on Hulu Plus, and I love the trailer. I don't use YouTube a lot. I do YouTube more on my iOS device. I don't really. And then, of course, the podcast, of course. And I don't know if I added Fanboy Weekly to iTunes, but I'm going to do that tonight. So look for Fanboy Weekly on iTunes soon. And, of course, there's HBO Go, which it's a newer edition, maybe within the last 12 months. But some of the apps I can't use, like the Disney XD, ABC Watch, because of Time Warner Cable. They're not part of the lineup. You know, they've been holding out for quite a while without. No, there's something called Yahoo Screen, I don't know what that is. I'm clicking on it. I kind of forget what Yahoo Screen is, but you know, Time Warner has been holding out for a lot of different things. They want you to use their apps, but that's not an app that's available on Apple TV right now. But it looks like Yahoo Screen is like videos from the net, and I won't look at that. But I do enjoy watch ESPN for tennis, but that's about it. And then the movies and home sharing and all that kind of good stuff. And now you can buy stuff off of iTunes, like the music, and of course you always can do videos. Thor: The Dark World is available, and I'll check it again. And they got an early release for some reason, and I know I haven't seen it. I've been waiting for them to sell it at Target, because normally Target you can get their DVDs or Blu-rays really really cheap when the first week it comes out. So they have it in the new and noteworthy, but see, it's $20. I'm not gonna get it for $20. Although I would rather have a digital copy, but sometimes if you get it from the right company, like when I bought the Avengers, I got the 3D Blu-ray pack with and then you got a free digital copy. And once I put the code in, it automatically showed up on my Apple TV. So that was cool. But right now they have HD for $19.99. I'm not giving you $20 for Thor. I think I paid 16 for the Avengers, and I haven't seen Thor yet. I know, like I said, fanboy come lately. That would be me. Um, but yeah, so I'm waiting on that to show up at Target, and hopefully I can get a good Blu-ray deal with the addition of a free digital copy, so I won't really have to watch it because it'll be in HD. Anyhow, thank you guys for joining me. I think I'm pretty have gotten this. This is probably one of the shows that is the most scheduled or the only scheduled one that shows up that I've been doing frequently or quite frequently or consistently, I should just say consistently on time, even though we might run 1 or 2 minutes late. I still do it on, well, Sunday night, Monday morning, 1 o'clock. But that's neither here nor there. But they released the Apple update for it's a security connection verification. So nothing new popped up on my screen, and I haven't got the update yet for my iOS device. I don't think. Normally it tells me there's an update, but I don't. Let me go to settings. I don't see it as of yet. Da, 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 general. Let's see. Software update. Checking for update. That says an. I'm not dealing with that right now. Anyhow, so what's going on? So the title of today's episode is The Search for Lois. So if you've heard any of our past shows or even on some of our regular shows I've been talking about, I talked about it last night on an episode of The Drive. I'm still searching for Lois Lane number 106. If you read the blog, the 5x5.blogspot.com, I did a blog on it and a show, kind of, sort of. I've been looking for this issue. The first thing that attracted me to this issue was my black female was on. I haven't watched Comic Book Man tonight. You know, they was doing something on there. A black female was on Comic Book Man the other day, and she came in, she asked for a Lois Lane book, which was number 106. And of course, I'm sure it's all scripted and it was planned out. And anyhow, and it was the issue where Lois Lane was turned into a black woman. And, you know, I talked about it last week. I have to have this episode. I'm going to get this issue. I keep saying episode, issue one way or the other. But I've been searching. I went to a flea market this weekend that used to sell comic books, and one person there who had he didn't have a lot of comic books, and he didn't like a fanboy to me. Not that it matters, because we take all shapes and sizes, and colors and creeds and nationalities and all that kind of good stuff. And because I was asking him, I said, does anybody else sell comic books? I said, this particular flea market, which I've gotten a ton of comic books from this flea market in past years, I said, does anybody sell comic books around here anymore? It is so shady in this flea market. I mean, it's shady. And he was like, no, I'm the only one. I don't do a lot. If somebody's looking for something, I'll try to find it. And so he says, I said, well, I'm looking for Lois Lane number 106. He said, oh, the issue where she turned into a black woman. I'm like, what? How do you know that? Because, you know, I was completely astounded. I'm like, I can't believe that somebody actually knew what I was talking about. Not a comic book person, wasn't in a comic book store. This guy, he's like, well, his best friend is a collector, and he goes through his stuff, and they've had that discussion about that particular book before. And he's like, it's hard to come by, and he was giving me some prices, and some of the prices are really, really, really overrated. But I'm like, well, that's fine. We kind of chit chatted about it. He's like, well, good luck on finding it, and so I'll check back with him, because he was a nice guy. Unlike some of the comic book stores that I've went to, that either have not wanted to help me or wanted me to find it. I don't know. And even when I spoke to the owner of one of the comic book stores here, you know, and I said, well, you know what's on Comic Book Man? And he was like, yeah, I don't watch that show. I do this all day long, and they're making it out more than what it is. dude, and I said this last night, you need to be current. That they're current. It's a good show. It has Kevin Smith. The fanboys are loving it. Oh, and are you guys watching King of the Nerdverse or something like that? I watched the one that had um uh, about the Stan Lee Comic Con deal that they was all working for his assistant, and I forget what it was called, but that was good. I don't know if they're gonna have another one of those. I enjoyed that, but he was, he could care less, and he is giving me this blank stare, like, you got a lot of nerves. This is my store, but nobody's in your store. It's empty. And the people that come, they're not coming for comic books. They're coming for either books or your DVDs. And the people who are the staff that you have that's in charge of the comic books, they're pretty clueless, in my opinion. When you ask them different things, like if you remember, not too long ago, back in October, doing what was the October comic Halloween Comic Fest, where they did like a free comic book day deal. They gave free comic books out, and they're supposed to give these Hellboy pins out. And I went there, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about." And then I had to go back, and I got a guy that I actually like talking to while I'm there. He's probably the only one that likes doing what he's doing, and he has some knowledge about comic books, and he said, "Oh, we have them. They just been sitting over here. Nobody really asked for them." I'm like, "Ugh." And then the other store, they're more into gaming. The gaming community goes to the other store, and if you're not a gamer, you don't know how to play Magic or Dungeons and Dragons, because when I was there last time, he was more interested in the players, what they were talking about, than answering my questions or even going to look for this Lois Lane comic book. But I think my search has come to an end. Not that I'm stop looking. I think I found it. I'm not going to tell you where I found it, because if somebody's listening and they want that book, though, because they only have one. I did. Let's say I did find it. It was at a price that I'm like, I'll pay the price. I will pay the price, and I will talk about these people on our next issue, because if I made an offer, because see, I'm probably telling too much. I made an offer, and if they accept my offer, hopefully, either way, whether they accept my offer or I'm paying the price that they're asking for it, which is really, affordable. It's not crazy price. I'm not stupid. I will pay that price, and hopefully I will have it by the end of the week, and I'll be able to talk about it at least by Saturday. I want this all done tomorrow. I want it done tomorrow. I want it in the mail by Wednesday, because I get obsessive about stuff. If I want something, I want it, and I just want it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm going to have it. If nobody gets it before they get back with me, and I don't really care what kind of condition was in. I just want the book. It's not because I want to resell it or make money off. I just want the book. It's decent enough from what I've seen in pictures, and it's the actual picture. I can deal with it, but I think what they're asking for it, if you go to the pricing guide and the condition that they're asking for it, it's really, really less than what they have been asking for. So I'm like, yeah. So hopefully they'll accept my offer. Maybe not, but one way or another, I will have that book hopefully in my grasp in the next few days. And that's Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 106. I got that out of my system, so I'm not so anxious about finding it now. Wish there was another place I wanted to check in town, because they also have a lot of comic books. A lot of these people at flea markets, and I'm not saying anything against them. If they have comic books, they've bought them from someone else, and they think they can make anywhere from 10 cents to $1 on a copy, whether it's old or not. And I've gotten some good copies that are in good condition that are worth some money. And on a future show, I'm going to go through some of my collection and tell you the ones that I have that are of some value, some of the number ones that I have. And I'm going to do that on a Google Hangout. So if you guys want to hang out and talk to me about whatever your fanboy passion is, like I said, I'm a comic book geek, gaming nerd. If you guys want to hang out, that's going to be maybe sometime this week. I think I'm going to do that. I was gonna wait until I had the Lois Lane comic book and just do a big unveiling, but or I just might do a video of me doing that. I don't know, haven't decided yet. But if you want to hang out, go to send me an email at 5BYY5FIVE at gmail.com, and we can get that all set up, guys. I'd like to talk to any of the gay geeks out there because I am a gamer, GAYMER, and if the gay comic book geek, he wants to chat, love to have Paul on. He's really cute. And another thing about going to flea markets and stuff and finding comic books and stuff like that, if you're a flea market person, are you a vendor at a flea market and you sell comic books, and you're interested in giving a good product to your patron, your consumer, whatever, they need to have boards and bags. And it would help if you don't write on them, unless it's a signature from Stanley or somebody. It would help if you didn't write on them or put a price tag sticker on the front of the book. I was at another, like a little antique shop, actually two in the past week, and I've seen some books that could be of value, but the vendor had taken, how you have those orange circles that's sticky on the back, and they've written the price on it, and they've stuck it to the front cover. It's fine if you stick it to the front cover of the plastic bag, or I seen somebody who had a Barbie #1, and I looked it up, and I told you guys this last night in the drive episode. They wanted I want to say $15, $12 to $15. I can't remember, but it was more than 10. And Barbie #1, unfortunately, it's like $8 for one, and that's in near mint condition. It was like 40 cents in poor condition or something like that, and they had like $12 to $15 on it. I can't remember. But they had two big stickers on it saying it's the #1 copy of Barbie, and they had it like in a little Lexan thing to hold it, but they had destroyed it by putting the price right onto the book, so it's worth nothing. I'll give you 50 cents for it just to have it, but that would be an argument I probably wouldn't win, and Barbie is not something that I have to have in my comic book collection. It's not that serious. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I fight fires, and I save lives.
My name's Renee. I'm a cardiologist. I save lives.
My name's Anthony. I'm an EMT. I save lives.
You don't have to be a professional to save a life. Firefighters, doctors, and others save lives. You can too. Don't wait. To learn more about the warning signs and how you can help prevent suicide, visit save.org. In a crisis, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK.
And we're back. Why don't you guys tell me? See, again, I'm gonna say this a couple times during tonight's episode because I sometimes I get information late, or I don't realize, I don't think about it too much. The big Guardians of the Galaxy movie is coming out in August of this year. It's been hyped. I think it's even getting more hyped than the second Captain America movie. It's all over the place. It's a little bit obscure. I read an article earlier today, and they were talking about how what's going on with Marvel, because I didn't know. I guess I kind of knew that Disney owned Marvel Studios. Are they going on the outskirts? Are they trying to expand the viewership, but by having a comic book movie that's not so mainstream? Because Guardians of the Galaxy is not that mainstream. I got two of my old Guardians of the Galaxy comic books, and I don't have them right in front of me. I'll get those here in a second. And so they're talking about how, what's going on. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel, because this is a very, very obscure comic book to movie, in my opinion, because like I said, it really hasn't been mainstream. It's not the X-Men, it's not the Avengers. And for me, when they start doing the Avengers movies, that was and even Iron Man, because I wasn't a collector of those. Not that I don't have them, because I do. I was more the X-Men, and although X-Men, for the team shows, it came first. Unlike Spider-Man, we had Spider-Man and a couple of Hulk movies before the X-Men came out, I believe, or one bad Hulk movie. Definitely Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire portrayal of Spider-Man, which were the first two were good. But with this Guardians of the Galaxy movie, they've been just hyping it so much. So I'm like, so they don't know it's going to be really, really good because it's going to bring in a diverse viewership, because they say something about, you know, the next episode of Star Wars is on the horizon. So this Guardians of the Galaxy movie, you know, they don't know how good it's going to be or how it's going to turn out, and but they're hyping it a lot and it looks good. Like I said, I like to have a little bit of base knowledge, because when I go to the movies, like when I used to go to like when I seen the first X-Men or the second X-Men with one of my best friends, you know, he is not a comic book person, so I said, well, this is what really happened in the comic books, and you know, there's a backstory I know, and so I can enjoy the story, and then I can critique it because I do have some base knowledge, well, more than some base knowledge about some of the characters that are portrayed on screen. But this one I didn't know, or I should have known, because I am a WWE fan, and I guess the Elimination Chamber was tonight, and I don't know who won, but that's neither here nor there. I'll find out tomorrow on Monday Night Raw. Dave Bautista, you know, they call him Batista on WWE. He is Drax the Destroyer. How come you guys didn't tell me that? How come I didn't know? Perfect pick, you know, but I don't know why I didn't know that Dave Bautista from the WWE was the Drax the Destroyer. I'm like, what? And then for some reason I didn't know that Groot is Vin Diesel. Who knew? I didn't. Again, I get information late, and they say it's going to be interesting because Groot in the comic book never says anything. He just says, "I am Groot." So if this is going to be, because he doesn't look like, you know, Batista, when you look at him, the Drax of the story, he looks like Batista. I'm like, oh, okay, there he is. That's him. And then when you look at Groot, you're like, well, does it look like Vin Diesel? You know, and then Bradley Cooper is what's his name? The Rocket? What's it, the little raccoon dude? And then of course, you know, Zoe Zaldana is going to be Gamora. So we'll see. We'll see how Dave Bautista, but this is going to be in this movie. But this makes sense now, you know, because there's been a resurgence of him on WWE. He returned about a month ago. This is all promotion, in my opinion. This is all advertising. I don't know how much Marvel Studios paid or WWE to put him back on WWE. This is an advertising campaign, because for all intents and purposes, you know, that all that wrestling stuff is kind of fake. They have storylines just like a soap opera, and the mega money that it makes is still floors me to this day. But you know, it is what it is, and people seem to like it. And there's a lot of people that like it because they're sold out everywhere. They even sell out here in this city. They come once a year. But it's all advertising. I'm like, this all makes sense. And when I found out that's who was playing Drax of the Story, I'm like, oh, this is advertising. They're going to get this WWE audience because everybody loves Batista. And if he won the Elimination Chamber tonight, that's just more advertising. Here's what I think. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. My prediction could be totally wrong. He wins the Elimination Chamber, and he's going to be around until, just like, remember when The Rock, he came back and he won. He was a WWE champion because he had all these movies coming out this past summer, you know, and consequently he was the highest grossing actor for 2013 movie wise. And same thing with Dave Bautista. He's going to be around. They're going to hype this movie. WWE, I'm surprised we haven't seen more. The closer we get, we're going to see more commercials. There's probably going to be a little some kind of advertisement thing that's going to be woven into the show. And that's why he's going around with his chest all pushed out, because he's in the movie. He has a big part of this movie. He said he was really surprised that he even got the role, and this is the job he's going to, because when's the last time we seen Dave Bautista, wrestling? I haven't been watching. I didn't watch when he was really popular, but I know enough about the WWE that he was a big part. He's held the championships, of course, and now this movie and it's advertising. I say touche, go for it, because with their viewership and the people that go watch the wrestling matches, this is going to make his popularity grow, and that's going to make the and maybe that is the part of when they casted, who could we get to fill this role and bring in more audience, more viewers? Because, and I didn't know this, if you remember on WWE, Kane and Halle Berry had an interaction, but it was for the movie The Caller. Remember when she was like a 911 operator, and the girl got snatched up by the guy, and then she went and saved her. That was a good movie. I actually enjoyed it. And WWE was part of they're on the credits, so they're in all that. They might have gave you a little money, who knows. This is, for me, it's advertising, so I don't know if he won the Elimination Chamber. Like I said, I won't find out until tomorrow. I think that's interesting. But in other movie news, I didn't know this either. Again, Hugh Jackman, he is such a great person. He did something. The fee. Let's see. Well, I don't have it pulled up, but I'll have to be right back. So let's take a quick break, and I'll find the information that I need to find, and we'll be right back with why Hugh Jackman is good with or without the claws.
Like my red cape. Soup, super. Ooh. Can you please pour me a handle? Now hit the sirens on the rocks.
Growing up, I was confused, like the cards up over my head. Confused, I tap my fingers and then wind up dead. My mom and dad, they wouldn't listen when I realized I'm a hero and I'm on a mission. Living that life, I'm considered a myth. Rockin' body sober after drinking a fifth. I'm topping man balloons and they're shaking the fist. Pulling bad guys over with the flick of my wrist. Till my rhyme's so hot, MCs are melting. 537 degrees Kelvin, that's 264 degrees Celsius. Don't ask me what the fuck the Fahrenheit equivalent is. But I need a superhero partner. Team up and battle crime like Crest Battle Starter. Now we fight crime while we drop lines. Ladies form lines while we say what we say. Superheroes, every city has a real. Like the streets in Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. Making man scientists aching like clay. Last line of defense to stop calamity. When it matters, we're like Holmes and Hannity. Doing that shit you only see in movies. And rocking that after party with groupies. Let me introduce the man who has my back in the pins. Bad karate skills, so slap the black off the ninjas. You ready? Yeah. I'ma pass this shit.
What? And it goes like this. Thursday night hitter, they call me Balboa. Teeth gritting bitch, tapping back door blower. Master of plays, I got a statue of bronze. You be rolling like Chachi, I'll be fucking like Bond. No, Mrs. C, I wanna eat your pie. The MILF hunter tapped that action last night. Cause I use Coors Light to get a bitch right. 6-pack later, I'll be laying some pipe. I'm really hard, but not made of steel. I asked Ray Riley if the boobies were real. Yeah, I dig that.
What the internet's leaving?
A master of big.
Put your base for jail.
Superheroes, every city has a real. Like the streets in Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. Making man scientists aching like clay. Last line of defense to stop calamity. When it matters, we're like Holmes and Hannity. Doing that shit you only see in movies. And rocking that after party with groupies. Criminals be coming out at night like the Wolfman. I'ma make it right cause I am the solution. Cleaning up the town like there was pollution. Cause I know how to fight and I know kung fu. And heart of the lion and the dragons too. And I got bare arms like the Constitution.
Superheroes, big boots.
Superheroes, every city has a real. Like the streets in Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. Making man scientists aching like clay. Last line of defense to stop calamity. When it matters, we're like Holmes and Hannity. Doing that shit you only see in movies. And rocking that after party with groupies. Cause super cuties and superhero booties. And we don't
super based it. Superheroes, yeah. Superheroes. Shake the king. Shake the king.
Superheroes, every city has them. Like the streets of Gotham City at Batman. We're on the call any time of day. Making mad scientists aching like clay. Last line of defense to stop calamity. When it matters, we're like Holmes and Hannity. Doing that shit you only see in movies. And rocking that after party with groupies.
I need to fix that. That song kind of ends abruptly. Thank you guys for listening. It is the 5x5, and it is Fanboy Weekly with your host, David. I was snacking while we were breaking. I'm starving. Yeah, I had a bad experience today at Taco Bell. It's not a fanboy fave, trust me. I had a grilled stuffed burrito today. Well, I didn't have it. I don't know what they put in it. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't right. I will talk about this more tomorrow on the late night show, but it was disgusting. Anyhow, welcome back. Before we went to break, I was talking about how Hugh Jackman is such a great person. Like, and I got it kind of mixed up, but you know, he made a cameo in First Class. Remember X-Men First Class? And he didn't take any payment for it. You know, some of these actors, they get so, and it was maybe 30 seconds. You know, how much they're going to pay you for 30 seconds anyhow? You know, it's Hugh Jackman. He's Wolverine. You know, he's going to be Wolverine for a very long time in the minds of the viewers. You know, there's going to come some point in time where he's going to have to pass the torch. They're going to have to recast Wolverine at some point when they'll reboot the whole X-Men whatever down the road. Maybe 10 years from now it'll be rebooted, and a lot of these actors that I'll be too old to be running to these superhero movies, but I'll go. But right now he's Wolverine. You know, he's probably most recognized for Wolverine. You know, because before the X-Men movies, I didn't know who Hugh Jackman was. He was on Broadway. I think he was nominated for a Tony Award. He was in some other things, but this Australian actor just kind of came out of nowhere, and Wolverine, which is one of the biggest successes in comic book history, put him on the screen. You know, put him, kind of introduce him to the world, so to speak. I guess more exposed to the world, to this guy. He's a good guy. But for X-Men First Class, he did not take payment for his cameo. He donated his fee to his kids' schools, which I'm like, I guess you kind of got it, but you was able to help other people with the money and other kids. I guess all the little boys probably love his kids at school. Your dad's Wolverine. Can you imagine that? But I was reading that article on Movie Pilot, and they actually got their information from Collider, and Hugh Jackman on Bryan Singer. He says there's no director better at handling multi-character stories. He knows how to do it. He embraces the emotional side of the story in this fully. There's a lot of comedy in it as well as all things that. So he really wanted to create a very realistic, human, emotionally rich dynamic, and it's gone to another level. And his future as Wolverine, he said this may be the last time playing it, and he said, and if it is, it couldn't be a better way to wrap it up. He's fully aware that the people will hear the idea and think, oh, they just come up with a way to bring everybody together. And the great thing is, he doesn't have to sell it because he knows the storyline is good. I found my graphic novel of Days of Future Past. I knew I had it. I didn't have to repurchase it. I knew I had it. So I'm going to read that again. I know there's a lot changed, but I did find my graphic novel that I borrowed years ago. I mean, a long time ago. But it's still in his bag, and it's still in very, 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 very good shape. He also says any of the cynics out there is going to exceed their expectations by a million miles because it's a very strong emotional story, which he thinks has always been the strength of the X-Men. Um, he said he probably shouldn't tell you this, but the biggest Fox movie ever outside of Avatar, so it's going to be a massive, massive movie. Um, And he says about the Wolverine legacy in film, he said, I always think that the great parts outlive the actors that play them. I agree with that. I totally, but that's any good movie or somebody that you identify with. Wolverine, like I said, he's always going to be Wolverine. You know, when people, unless there's somebody comes out and knocks that part, you know, I remember a long time ago, which I still think it's kind of corny, and I had to find it somewhere. I haven't seen it on Netflix. I haven't seen it on iTunes, but I need to find a copy of Pride of the X-Men. I had it at one point. Where it is, I have no idea. It was one of the first animated movies that kind of introduced everybody to the team, the second team that came on after Jean Grey had passed the first time, and when she was still in Hudson Bay up under the water. This was when Kitty Pryde came into the fold, and it had Wolverine in it, it had Storm in it. What else? Who else? I think Colossus, of course, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler, and Dazzler. Forget Dazzler. Why don't they put Dazzler in one of these movies? I think that would be so. She could have a standalone movie. It could be tight if they done it right. They could really update that character in film, but they haven't brought her. And I don't know if she's gonna be part of Days of Future Past because she was around during that time. But you know, she got married to Longshot and went to the Mojo Dimension and all that kind of nonsense. And then there was X Babies and craziness. Anyhow, but the Pride of the X-Men, that animated feature, and had like, I guess it was the Blob as well, Toad, the White Queen, and Magneto were the villains, and it was silly. And I remember Wolverine's, because he was Australian. I know that's where they got an Australian actor. That portrayal had the accent. And it was really, really corny. And even remember Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, they had what's the name, Firestar and Iceman. Remember, because they was past members of the X-Men, and they would go have like a reunion. They had like two. They mixed one was with the Juggernaut storyline, and the other one was like 7 little superheroes or something like that. That is on Netflix. So you guys haven't seen it. Spider-Man has Amazing Friends. If you're an X-Men fan, you can see those old '80s portrayals, animated portrayals of the X-Men. It's hilarious, but they got the accents right. But the whole Wolverine accent was really, really a corny, bad Australian one. Or was he supposed to be Canadian because he's from Canada? Anyhow, but it was an Australian accent. And then also, then there was the X-Men animated series where he was really, really gruff and mean and brooding all the time. But then they kind of lightened him up as and that went for a long time. I actually loved that animated series. I did watch the other night, actually last night or the night before last, I did watch, it was a Hulk Iron Man movie. And I'm like, what? It was animated. I'd never seen it before. It popped up on Netflix, so I watched it. And I'm like, it wasn't all that great. It wasn't all that bad, but it wasn't all that great. And I'm like, yeah, they could have done without this, because it was kind of, anyhow, it was over. It's like 72 minutes long. It was like a long movie, but it wasn't all that great. But check out Pride of the X-Men. If somebody can tell me how I can find one that's a decent price, because I'm not going to spend. It's nostalgia, but it's not that nostalgic for me to pay some crazy price for it. If I can get it for $5.99, I'm about it. Not much in the way of comic books this week purchased. I did get a Justice League 52. I don't even know what I did with it. Yeah, 52 Essentials. $1, and then I didn't even get any old issues. Because they have like 10 cents old issues, and that not for collectability, just for the sake of collecting. And the essential, which I did know this, again, fanboy come lately. I'm late on some of the information. The new 52, obviously, the story was retold in Justice League War. That is the new 52 Justice League retold, because I mean, almost verbatim. Almost verbatim. And these essentials are $1. I'll probably get the whole line just because it would never be worth anything. Because I had the Justice League War movie on my Apple TV. Wink, wink. And I'm like, oh my God. Except like when at the very, very beginning when Green Lantern runs Apocalypse. Did I say Apocalypse? Yeah, Apocalypse Minion. No, it's not Apocalypse. What's his name? Darkseid. Wow, I always thought those characters were a lot like Darkseid and Apocalypse. They're the same character, kind of. Although Apocalypse is really no, they're the same character. Anyhow, Darkseid, one of the minions. He in the animated movie, he runs them through with a train. In the New 52's Justice League comic book, it's a fire truck. So, but it's almost verbatim. I'm like, because I never looked at it. Like I said, I'm not a very big DC person anymore. I do like the Wonder Woman comic books. Really didn't follow Superman, Batman, all those. Throughout the years, I have different storylines. Like I said, I do have the whole series of Worlds Collide. I have that in the original bags that you had. It had like a card in there that's never been opened, and also the Death of Superman with all the black bags with the red emblem on it, and then the white bag with the black emblem on it. I do have those, but never really followed. So when I looked at this, I'm like, oh, it's $1. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that because like the Wonder Woman essential, it told the first New 52 story, and so with the Justice League New 52, it mimics, or I guess the animated movie mimics it. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What else do we have? Not much. Oh, I had looked at this probably a long time ago about the most valuable comic books, and I don't know if I didn't know a lot of them. Remember when the Bone comic books were very, very collectible and they was like worth crazy prices? And I'll talk about this more in a future episode or in a hangout because I have a lot of number ones. Remember when Spawn number one was worth a lot of money? I have like 2 or 3 of those number one. I have like 2 number twos. I have Beavis and Butthead number one. Now, whether they will be worth anything in the future, and they're old now because I got those in the 90s. I don't know if the value will go up because people don't collect comic books like they used to. But it's still fun for me. But number one was the top. This article came from about.com comic books. It says comic books have really come into their own as a collectible commodity, as rare and vintage comic books are going for astronomical amounts to collectors the world over. The better the grade of these comics, the higher the price will be, some going for over $1 million a piece. These comic books contain some of the most recognizable characters with an emphasis on their first appearances. They are very hard to find in decent condition, so when one does come to light with a high grade, all bets are off in terms of its value as collectors dig deep to score the item as their prized possession. So the first one was Action Comics, number one. They're saying it's undoubtedly the most valuable comic book in the world. 2 different comic books have sold for $1 million recently, and even lower grades this comic book sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want to meet these persons who are spending this money. Are you spending this money to hold your money somewhere because you know the value is only going to increase, or you're a collector? I wish I had that kind of money. If somebody would give me $1 billion, I would have a ton of old comic books. But how would you insure them? What would you insure them for? What would be the cost to insure those old comic books? Who knows? Action Comics number one is the birth of the superhero comic books, and it contains the first appearance of the world's best-known hero, Superman. This makes it the one item that serious Golden Age collectors must have. No, you can be serious, but not all serious collectors have $1 million to drop on a comic book. I'm sorry. Give me one with half the page tore off, some pages tore out, the back with markers. I can give you 50 cents. So I'll give you $10. But it would be nice to see. It would definitely be nice to see. Number 2, Amazing Fantasy. Number 15. Marvel Comics' top characters is no slouch when it comes to being valuable. His first appearance in Amazing Fantasy number 15 makes this comic another must-have item. It also has sold for over $1 million, making it one of the most expensive comic books in the world. This character is one so many people have related to, and it's no wonder Spider-Man has become the powerhouse that he is. I have Spidey comic when I was little. Remember the really cheesy? It's cheesy now when you look back at it. The cheesy Spider-Man 70s live action television show. He had those ropes that came out that was like spider web, and he just really ran, and it was so bad. I wonder what happened to that guy. I need to look him up. I wonder if he's, I don't want to say that. I hope he's not dead. I would like to look him out. I want to know. I need to find out. So I want to find that out. But so Amazing Fantasy number 15 was the debut of Spider-Man. Number 3, Detective Comics 27. You know, it's Batman, is another iconic character that has a comic book in the $1 million market. Detective Comics number 27 is his first appearance and shows the Dark Knight in his black and gray costume solving the murder of a wealthy businessman. So that's a good one. So number 4 is Superman. The second Superman book to make the list has been rumored to have sold for over $500,000 in a private sale. Wow. Number 5, and I wouldn't think this, but I do have a X-Men comic book from 1968. I do have it. I'll have to look at the value, but I do have that comic book. And it's in fine condition. It's not in perfect condition, but I do have one. Number 5, Fantastic Four number 1. Fantastic Four number 1 is so easily recognizable with the 4 heroes battling a monster rising from underneath the ground. Their debut issue is another contender for the most valued comic book, having sold for nearly $500,000. Wow. Number 6, Marvel Comics number 1. Whatever happened to Marvel Boy? I found an old issue of Marvel Saga, and one of the stories in Marvel Saga, and I'll talk about this too, was Marvel Boy. Remember, he was like the telekinetic, and I think Jean Grey tried to help him at one point, try to train him. He was a telekinetic counterpart to Jean Grey. Did they kill him? Somebody needs to let me know. Number 6, Marvel Comics number 1. The first appearance of the Human Torch is also one of the most valuable comics in existence. It was published by Timely Comics, which later became Marvel Comics, and it might have been the second issue that had the name change, making it the only of its kind. Either way, this is a great piece of comic history. Number 7, Batman number 1. The first comic on the most valuable list that is not a first appearance of the title character, Batman, was released about a year after Detective Comics number 27, and the main reason it is so valuable, other than being Batman's first titled comic, is that it's his first appearance of the Joker. Didn't know that. This character has gone on to be almost synonymous with Batman, and one can see why it's such a sought-after comic, but they don't give a prize. Captain America Comics number 1. The first appearance of Captain America makes the list, released in 1941. The issue starts out with the creation of Captain America himself, seeing Professor Reinstein injecting weak Steve Rogers with the super soldier serum, transforming him into a battle-ready hero in the blink of an eye. Now that's one movie I'm really looking to see coming out. I think it's 4/4/14, so that is almost a month away. Oh wow, that kind of coincides with. I won't go see it on day one because it would be ridiculous. But I'm going to see Captain America: Winter Soldier in April. Let's see. Jack Kirby is a Jack Kirby comic book. He's a flagship character of Marvel, and everybody knows that. Number 9, Action Comics number 10. This comic from Action Comics broke records in 2011 when CGC graded copy of this comic with a rating of 9 and sold for $250,000. The fact that this comic does not contain first appearances of any major character shows just how valuable these old, well-kept comic books are. Any of these classic comics in great condition can be worth a small fortune, which we know that's true. Number 10, All American Comics number 16. This comic is the first appearance of the Golden Era Green Lantern and continues to exist in DC Comics today. Although different in origin from the current Green Lantern, this one is still widely sought after by collectors the world over. This is the guy who had the cape and the white shirt, and I think his pants may have been black with like red tights or something like that. I never liked that particular character, but I've never been a Green Lantern fan. Only time I like Green Lantern is when Hal Jordan went crazy and became Parallax. Remember they tried to use that in the movie and it didn't work. Yeah, y'all shouldn't have done that. And so that brings us to a number 11, More Fun Comics 52. And it's the first appearance of the Spectre. I do have a Spectre comic book. I don't. It's not in good condition, but I don't know what number it is. I'll have to look that up as well. They say it's an odd comic to be on the list since the Spectre is a much lesser known character. True. One reason it's so widely sought after is that many comics before contained reprinted material from the newspaper, and this comic contains completely original material and paved the way for how comics are written and published today. So those are your 11 most valuable comics, and I don't own any of them. I'll take gifts. I'll take gifts, and it will be, I will cherish them for the rest of my life. What I did think was interesting, when I was looking for content for this week's episode, I seen a comic book from Archie. Now, doing Free Comic Book Day, I think I got a Archie and Veronica or Archie and Betty comic. Never been a fan. When I was little, the library, and I think they still do, they don't carry the single issues. They carry the big, massive collection comic books. But they don't carry the single issues. When I was little, I remember going to East Branch Library, and I was allowed to check out comic books. So I would get like 5 or 6, and I loved them. And I've been a comic book fan for a very long time. I wish I still had my ISIS comic book that my grandmother bought me years and years ago at Royal. I still remember like it was yesterday. Royal Superfoods. I would stand there, like when we would go to the grocery store, I would stand in front of the comic book rack and spin it around and just read comic books until they were finished grocery shopping. And see, I'm getting a little more nasally, aren't I? I can tell. And then when they would tell me, "Come on, David." That's when you could leave your kids alone in the store. I didn't act bad without them being snatched up by somebody. But anyhow, Archie's has been around for a long time, and they did have the Archie's Digest. My sister would check those out. I would get the Superman, Wonder Woman. I was the X-Men fan there, Spider-Man. I would get those, but I wouldn't get. I wasn't in X-Men yet, and my sister would get the Archies, so I would read some of hers just for something to do. But now there's a comic called, there's a gay character, Archie Comics gay character Kevin Keller, which I didn't know that Archie Comics had a gay character. He's about to become a superhero. And it's going to be in Archie Comics number 14. And I should have looked for that today, but I totally forgot. It is a GLAAD Award winner. Archie's pal, Kevin Keller. He is going to be a superhero. Kevin will be known as the Equalizer, and the story will play out for a few issues of the comic series, with Keller creator Dan Parent saying that more issues may pop up depending on the response from fans. I'm going to promote this book on my show because I think this is important, especially from Archie, to include gay characters. And although I don't think comic books are really for kids anymore, they do have kid stuff. Like some of these little animated shows that are on today, like Adventure Time and, of course, Family Guy and American Dad and all those type of, and then some of the other ones that are on Adult Swim. You know, if I had a child, y'all, you can't look at some of this because you'll be back talking, saying crazy stuff in front of my friends. You know how kids can be. And they're for adults. But Archie's was for that teenager, that tween, preteen, that the market used to be for high school age kids or even junior high kids. And then they had the Veronica and Betty series that was supposed to bring more young girl readers into the comic book form. But this is by Variant. Who makes this? I didn't see. Anyhow, Archie Comics Digest, Archie's pal Kevin Keller, the Equalizer, and the picture on the front is a silhouette of this kind of muscled character. Maybe he has wings, maybe he has a cape, but if you look, it has a cape in one, and there's lightning striking down. Kevin will will be teaming up with the favorite rich girl Veronica, who acts as his billionaire benefactor and puts together his swank Batcave style lair. IGN says, well, first of all, we had to pick out a name for him, and since he is gay and stands for equality, he wants to help everybody. We're not just talking about cases of homophobia. We're talking about when someone downtrodden gets hurt, the equalizer is just sort of a good term. It's not a term that we made up. Obviously, it's been used for batteries and TV shows. Haha. The word's been used before, but it just symbolized him because he stands for equality, and that's what he's trying to do. When he becomes a superhero, first he helps an old lady who's getting attacked, then he saves this kid from getting made fun of, which he's been in that place before. Then also, if a real crime is being committed, he'll help stop that too. He's an equal opportunity provider. So this should be really, really really cool. Oh, The Equalizer does not debut until May 5th. So listen, guys, because I'll be, and that's going to be the day after Free Comic Book Day. Well, no, that's the Monday after Free Comic Book Day is on May 3rd. Last year was on 4th. So around the time. So maybe there'll be some advertising about that. And maybe I'll get somebody from RG Comics to talk to me on the show. I think we have run the gamut on, I'm going to keep that so I won't lose it, on all our fanboy stuff this week. Cross your fingers. I'll get the Lois Lane 106 comic book soon. Soon. Oh, one last thing. Before, here is the complete cast of Days of Future Past. I'm not going to go through the bios, but I'm going to tell who's all going to be really featured in the movie coming up. There's Blink, there's Bishop, of course Kitty Pryde, Bolivar Trask, Quicksilver. Quicksilver is played by Evan Peters from American Horror Story. Mystique, of course, Jennifer Lawrence. Beast, Warpath, which I don't like how he looks, and I would really wish they hadn't they could have chose somebody else. I've never been a big Warpath fan, but he's there. Iceman, of course, Wolverine. Sunspot, again, they could have chose another character, and I don't know why Blink is there. Blink didn't show up until Age of Apocalypse, and now then she was in when the comic book hero, when they died, because she got killed, they went to that other comic book world where at one point Juggernaut was there, and so was Psylocke. It was a mess. I don't think they do that anymore. Of course, Professor X, Magneto, Storm, Colossus, but I know Anna Paquin's in this movie. They didn't even name Rogue, so she might have a bit part. Hopefully, we'll get to see Rogue have the super strength and the flight. That would be tight. I don't know why they've never done that. And here's the thing, since True Blood is ending, this is the last season for True Blood, Anna Paquin will be open to portray Rogue in her own movie. And if Channing Tatum's going to play Gambit, Rogue and Gambit, they need to do it. They should do a television series. I don't think she would go to a television after True Blood, but it could be done. I know Channing Tatum wouldn't, but that guy that played Gambit in the first Wolverine movie, get him. I liked him as Gambit. So anyhow, but he would be way too old. The age differences are kind of wrong, I think. But anyhow, that's just my thought. Thank you guys for listening today. I'm sorry I got kind of nasally there at the end. It seems like the later it gets, the sicker I'm getting. So enjoy your comic books. Go out. Hopefully the next time I talk to you guys, I will be able to tell you that I have the Lois Lane #6 comic book. Remember, always check us out on the 5x5.blogspot.blog, facebook.com/the 5x5, or send me a tweet at the 5x5. We're going to see you guys next time. Thank you for listening. I'm David, and we're out.